Okay, so I never know how to start these things. Okay, does this look weird, awkward, bizarre? I don't know. I'm just really cold and I want to be comfy cozy. Also, comfy cozy is kind of funny. So this was like a sweatsuit. I promise, can't really see the whole thing though, but it's slightly damp still. I don't like to put my clothes in the dryer. It's not really good for them. They don't last as long and then they shrink. And why am I saying all this? Anyway, I just lightly, for a short period of time, threw them, this set, threw the top and bottom into the dryer just to get them undamp enough, but not enough like dryness to where they're gonna shrink and get all messed up. Anyway, I just really wanted to wear them, is what I'm trying to say, but they had to be clean, washed, and I really wanted to film this as soon as possible. And my phone is here. I keep it under this blanket sometimes. Yeah, so 3:01, Saturday, April 24th. That is today. You can't see from this far away. But it has been a long ass time since I've done a sit down style chit chat type thing with you guys. And my hair, if I don't know, procrastinated on this type of video, this format, my hair would be down to like my butt because I've been doing all kinds of other things instead, and it's just been so long since I've been here, since I've been hanging out on my bed, just gonna do a little chit chat here. So yeah, what have I been doing? I've just been doing other things. I've done voice recordings, I've done creative things and stuff, try on vlogs, things and stuff like that. So I'm happy to be back in this scenario here. And I was thinking, let's just get this out of the way. I don't know if that was in your view of my phone, but yeah, let's just do like a mental health chit chat slash update type thing. And I've heard of these, not so much really watched these. And I forgot that they existed until I looked them up, and I had this thought, this epiphany in my head, like, this might be a good thing to talk about, to share with you guys, and to get off my chest as well. And then I did some homework, like I Googled, I YouTubed, if that's a thing, YouTubed, just a mental health update. And those do exist, I just forgot about them. So here we are, that's what I'm gonna be doing, I guess. So yeah, I've thought a lot about mental health, and here it is towards the end of April. And this next month is going to be a reminder to all of us, or hopefully all of us, where we acknowledge and kind of stare in the face and try to help each other out regarding mental health, mental illness, and just be more open about everything from anxiety to depression to this and that, just things that are very much interior and internal, things that you don't really see, like another disability or illness, a physical problem. You can't really see your brain, obviously. Sometimes our illnesses, both more inside or outside, physical, mental, whatever, usually they do show. They can show, they have the potential to show. But at the same time, so much of it is on the inside. So again, it really just depends on the person. And I don't think that statement made sense. It made more sense in my head. But anyway, so yeah, next month I am excited for that. It's Mental Illness Awareness Month, and I've talked about that month in the past, and I've done things in honor of the month of May. And anyway, so yeah, I've just been thinking a lot about mental health and mental illness and where I'm at and where I want to be and where I've been in the past. So I was thinking this could be part one of part two. I'll do part two tomorrow, which is Sunday. Today, Saturday, I'm just going to do a little bit of this and that, a little bit of everything. Go more in my past, my present, what I want for the future. Tomorrow, I want to dig more into the social anxiety aspect, which I believe, at least as an observer and self-aware person in myself, social anxiety. So that is the biggest to me in my eyes, like in my experience. I think that's the most blown up and often flare up. That is my anxiety. So I really want to talk about that more tomorrow. So today will just be more overview, this and that, little bit of everything. So I guess a few things just to start. My main three areas of disability mental illness are the following. So there's the social anxiety, and there's the paranoia, and there's also the mood. And in high school, that's when I started to get diagnosed with things. And then I went psychotic my first time trying college. You know, I was on campus in 2017 for the first time, didn't sleep, hardly slept for like 11 days, and lost weight, got really sick, went psychotic, the scariest time in my life. And before that, in high school, I was starting to get very sick and ill, and things were starting to really show and manifest themselves. Had anxiety my whole entire life since like birth, since day one, I swear to God. And I was diagnosed with both anxiety and ADD/ADHD my freshman year of high school. Then you skip to my junior year, and I was diagnosed with major depression, and I missed like a month of school, and I would just come home and cry after high school. I would just cry after high school. Like the high school day, you know, like after school, after my classes, after I got home and everything, I'd just go in my room or talk to my mom and just crash. And that was repeating all of the time. It was a repetitive process, and it was just a lot of tears. I would cry over homework, I would cry over this and that. And it was just, I was so exhausted and fatigued. It's so tiring and stressful on the body to be scared all the time. And that's what anxiety is. It's just this fear, especially with other people. If you have social anxiety, there's all different kinds of anxiety. Anxiety like feeds off of each other and can cause other things like OCD, which I have as well. So yes. And then also I was diagnosed bipolar shortly after I got home and got treated and everything, once I went psychotic. So bipolar, rapid cycling, that is me. So with me, the way I was diagnosed with everything I have, it's not so much a label or a name or a definition, but my doctor would prefer to use the word tendencies. So she would refer to my symptoms, my disorders, as tendencies, like tendencies of OCD or traits of anxiety. Traits was also another word that she would use a lot. Instead of saying you have, or like you are bipolar, you know, it's not anything to define you. It's more things to help you understand what you have. And you have something, you are not that thing, if that makes sense. So, yeah, basically anxiety, depression, high school, and then bipolar and paranoia, trying college, getting back home from college, getting treatment. Um, so those are the main things, and then there's other things like the ADD, ADHD, if I didn't say that already, I think I did. And then the OCD, you know, and traits of schizophrenia, not full force schizophrenia, more the paranoia side of things in that area. And so, have I been talking for 10 minutes? I don't know. This might be long, sorry for that. It's just, I really have to get this off my chest, and I really want to share, and hopefully perhaps even help somebody who needs to hear this, who might be inspired, or someone who might feel less alone, someone who needs to feel less alone at this time. I would love to help you. So anyway, yeah, that is my mental health. I can't think of anything else that I really have other than sad. I just thought of that. I just remembered. And it usually takes place this time of year. So people, they get the winter blues, but I'm thriving starting in fall and going up until spring. So the colder months, it depends on where you live, obviously, but where I lived, like in Washington and now in Idaho, you know, we get a little bit of everything. Technically, both places I lived in were a desert, well, is right now, you know, so we get the rain, we get the hail, we get the snowstorms, we get snowed in, we get the sunshine, we get everything, and we get every time of year as well. So my favorite's the fall. I feel the most me, I feel the most stable and solid and secure and grounded, you know, and my SAD, the seasonal affective disorder, really comes, I would say, the springtime. So about now, like March, April time, and here it is the end of April, and I've really felt it the past few weeks especially. But anyway, this is when it really starts to hit and feel very real and in my face. And it's just more anxiety. It's like spring fever, I would call it. So the seasonal affective in me really takes place in the warmer months. So everybody gets so excited for the summertime. It's like a break from school. The sun is shining, and it's just fun, chill days. Just life is kind of quiet and slow, and it's just very nice. But with me, I might enjoy those activities, but like I'm staying indoors, I'm feeling more depressed and anxious. It's switched with me with if you compare myself to a lot of other people with SAD. And I have met someone through one of my classes. It was just like a class um, thing that was brought up. You know, it's hard to explain how this was brought up in class. But anyway, in one of my core education classes, we were talking about the seasons, like long story short, and SAD was brought up, and I asked a question about that. And I promise it did relate to what was going on in the class, that day. But someone else said that they struggle in the warmer months versus the cold months, like a lot of other people with seasonal affective problems. So, anyway, let's go back to other things and stuff. So insomnia and anxiety, that's been like my whole entire life basically. I've only been able to sleep for the last like 4 years, from the time I got treated after I went psychotic in 2017. And here it is, springtime basically of 2021. So, yeah, 17, 18, 19, 20. Can I count? Yes, sure. So the past 4 years I've been on sleep meds, and anxiety, just growing up, it was so bad. I was scared I would stutter, stammer. My face was like almost always red. If I was called on in class, I would often say, wait, what? Or I don't know, just to try to get out of having to talk more and avoiding the potential that, hey, I'm probably going to slip up and my stutter is going to come back. And the stammer, the stutter, it comes and goes. It's not as bad as it was, but sometimes I slip over my words. My mind is either racing or going too slow, or I go blank. Sometimes it happens when I'm anxious. Sometimes it happens if I'm confident. There's not really a pattern. It can usually get worse if I am very anxious. My parents say it doesn't show. It seems like it shows because it's so big and real to me. Anxiety just really flares up in your mind and your being. It's just very stressful, and your worst fear, you're very paranoid that other people can like smell it. Like, you don't want other people to tell that you're scared, you're fearful, you're stressed out. You don't want other people to judge you based on your anxiety. It's almost embarrassing for the person who does have anxiety. I can say that because that's been like my whole 23 and a half years of life. It's just been the paranoia, the fear of the anxiety. And if you're anxious about the anxiety that you have, it's just going to flare up even more. And for me, it really flares up more in the spring. So, oh, by the way, tomorrow I'll talk more about the social anxiety as well as some social interactions that I've been having, like my social life these past few days, weeks, and how my life will be changing in those areas, the area especially of interaction and people and friends and meeting new people, making new friends. So, anyway, that's just going to be about church, school, trips, getting like reacquainted, like whatever. So I'll talk more about those things and stuff tomorrow. But just to go over the meds I take right now, so I'm taking 3 things, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say, go talk to your doctor about these 3 meds and just drug yourself up and take them because I think that they're great or I think that they're not great. Don't take my advice or my experience. Just take this lightly with a grain of salt. This is just me talking out loud, thinking out loud, sharing my experience, my history with meds. So Strattera, I was on basically all of high school, went cold turkey, no meds for a year, and I think that's a part of why I went psychotic. Plus, I have had insomnia my whole life, and I wasn't treated for insomnia until after I went psychotic, right? So Strattera I was on all the time. I tried some other ADD meds here and there, but I went back to Strattera the past year. I think it was like the start of 2020, so it's been a little over a year of me being back on Strattera, whereas before I was trying another ADHD med for quite some time. And so I'm on Strattera again, and the sleep meds I'm taking is called Risperidone, and that really helps me sleep. I have had to amp up my dose to 2 milligrams, which really isn't all that much. I don't take that much in anything. I never really have. But 2 milligrams versus the 1.5 I was taking a while ago. The most I'd taken was like 3. That was when I had a terrible, awful night's sleep and I just couldn't fall asleep and I was just feeling really sickish. But I really try to keep it at 2. So That's risperidone. Sometimes it doesn't help me fall asleep fast enough, I feel, but I don't take more meds than I have to because that's not good for me and I can get addicted, and that's a different story. I'll go into that later. But the other thing I take is for mood, especially the bipolar and the paranoia. And, well, also the paranoia does fit in with the risperidone meds that I take, and that can really help you sleep and get tired and just put those thoughts, those dark thoughts, those paranoid thoughts in the back of your mind. If that makes sense, like put thoughts in the back of your mind. But that is an antipsychotic, the risperidone is. And then the mood, it really helps me to feel stable, and I'm stabilized for the most part. The bipolar has greatly helped in that area. I feel not so much flat, but I feel more a contentment, a peace. I still go up and down every few hours, I feel like, but it's not like before where it was like a tornado and it was just a hot mess and I was just this bipolar storm, and it was just like 1 minute euphoric, the next worse than down in the dumps, worse than the blues. Like it was just all over. So that's what I'm taking right now. I don't know if I said, but it's called Lamotrigine, the mood meds. And the Strattera makes me talk a lot more than I would, or I feel like a lot more, and my dad has said the same thing, you know. He's just very observant as well. So I feel like I talk a lot more than the old me. You know, like high school, I started taking Strattera, and that was when I was getting out of my shell more. And so I think that there was a correlation with that medication with my personality. Like there was a connection with becoming more extroverted, becoming more comfortable and confident, less socially anxious, you know. And maybe because of COVID, I've been reverting back to my old self, getting more anxious around other people again. But that's just kind of everybody with COVID in their own way. And I think everybody has been experiencing more anxious thoughts and feelings and behaviors of late, especially this past year because of COVID and just the world, especially here in the US, with politics and just societal problems and issues really, I don't know, becoming a major part of life now. But anyway, so that's where I'm at with my medications. And the thing about my medications is I don't want to take them forever. And I have thought ever since I started taking them my freshman year, and especially the last few years, I was thinking I would have to die on them. Like, not so much my meds would kill me, although they can if you overdose, if you become addicted, if you take them when you no longer need them, if you rely on them so much, etc., etc. But I really thought that I would die, like I would be in my grave still with the medication like in my body, like through my veins, you know? And I don't want that. I've had a lot of conversations with my boy, my man, and I did get offended at first with his comments and his concerns. And then I started to realize this might be a good thing for me to try to get off my meds. And the word is try. Like, I would really do it smartly. That is a word, right? Intelligently. I would be careful about it. I would talk to a doctor about it, go through the process with the help of my doctor, and it would all be good. And if I do go downhill, if it's unhealthy, if it's not right, well, not right, that's a weird term to use, but anyway, if it's just not good for me to be off meds completely, not have any help through meds, I'll have to go back on them. Obviously through a doctor and everything, but I want to see if I can do this by myself. And a part of my thoughts go back to when I went psychotic 4 years ago. It was 4 springs ago now, like exactly this month of April. And I really think that I might not even need these meds that I'm on. So I feel like, and I've talked with my boo, my babe, my boy about this, just that we need to really address the sleep. So we need to figure out what to do with that. And because that's been a giant concern and problem my whole life, since growing up, since I was very young, like elementary school age, especially in high school when it got really bad, you know, anyway, I just think we really need to address the sleep. And I think if the sleep is addressed, my mood problems, the mood swings, the up and down where I'm very elated or very depressed, that especially will really go away. And I think I won't be as paranoid because I'm sleeping and I get a good night's sleep every night. And then also, if we address the sleep, I think my thoughts will be more in order because of that good night's sleep. So maybe the ADHD will really, I don't know, slide away, I guess is the word, maybe. And then there's anxiety. That's probably my biggest fear. That and the mood. I really don't like being depressed. I mean, who does? It's one thing to feel sad and down in the dumps and just feel feelings beyond blue, you know? But, and sorry about the wind, I don't know if you can hear that. But if you have ever experienced depression, circumstantial, situational, just because it just comes to you, and it just came to me. It wasn't necessarily because of anything else. It was more, it happens in my family. You know, it runs in my family, and it's just that I happen to experience those feelings. Sometimes still do, not as bad though. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to feel that, and I'm scared if I'm off meds, I'll feel it worse, and it might grow and increase, and who knows. But then I'll just talk for a little bit more and then end it here with this part one and then move on to tomorrow's part two. But yeah, I think that if I can just address the sleep and solve the sleep problems and correct the insomnia and everything through the help of a doctor and just do it wisely, smartly, whatever, smartly, I think I'll be okay. And my main concerns, the mood, the anxiety, as well as the paranoia. So, especially though, I would say the anxiety. That's my fear. I really need to be able to sleep, and I think so many of my health concerns and my symptoms, the signs of my struggles, can really be put to bed. And that's funny to say because it all has to do with sleep. Like, really, I'm probably this scrawny because I wasn't sleeping, and I know that you grow in your sleep, right? But also, so much can come to pass and happen to you. All these disorders and things, these illnesses can happen to you because of lack of sleep and just not being able to get a good night's sleep every night. Like, I would run on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep in high school, and then I tried school here and I was getting maybe an hour of sleep a night during those 11 days, causing me to go in a psychotic state of mind. So, anyway, I would just love to get off of my meds, and I'm gonna wait until I'm done with school, and hopefully that is by the end of next year, 2022. I'll see if it happens. Let's just have our fingers crossed and let's hope and pray, you know. And I've talked about this with my boo. I do want to have kids, at least one, maybe two. I'm not there yet. I'm not sure. Whatever happens, happens, and that will be my life and my family, you know. But I would like to at least have the option to have kids and the knowledge that this child will be healthy and that I will be healthy as well. And to not be on meds is probably a very healthy, safe way to have a child. And I don't know, I think that I can be okay without meds. That's what I think. And I also think it would, well, I know that it would be very good for a child to not have to have, how to English, just not, I don't know, grow in the belly. What am I saying? I just don't think it's the best to be pregnant while taking medications, especially meds that you might not need. And I'll end with this thought. I might be addicted, and this was a part of why those upsetting comments really upset me. They weren't so much upsetting comments that my man made. It's weird to say my man. I try not to use this name like for privacy, but whatever. It's just, I don't know. They bothered me. They got to me, and it's hard to be called out on something like that. And maybe I have relied on them too much, and I have amped up my doses sometimes. Not all the time. It's very rare that I have in the past, and I don't really do it much anymore except for amp up my sleep meds by 0.5. I did that by myself without a doctor, but I did tell him the other month, that's weird to say, a little bit ago, at an appointment, my annual exam, so I explained to him about that, and he's understanding. It won't happen again though, I promised. And the thing is NyQuil as well. Some nights I'll take that in place of my sleep meds, and I don't have to be sick. I don't have to not be feeling good to do that. I do that a few times a month, and I'm trying to stop that habit, and I know that that's unhealthy as well. And it's like confessions, like I'm at freaking fucking church right now. But I don't know. I just think that, I don't know. I've just been very open about my mental health with my significant other, and that was where his concerns began, from the things that I would say and share, and especially the comment that I made. I don't, quote, I don't feel me without meds, or I don't know, I feel the most me on meds. Did I say that right? Anyway, I think the camera's gonna end my speech here. Gonna end it for me. So thanks for listening. I hope this was maybe helpful, maybe even inspiring. I don't know. It was really good for me to talk about this. I can't really talk about this with people. It was just such like a goose chase almost to find a good fit, just on and off throughout these years. And my mom got offended when I told her a little bit ago that I want to get off my meds one day. So I can't really talk to her about it. And it obviously is my choice after I graduate and move out and everything. But anyway, okay, I'm still talking. Okay, bye.